At some point, we basically say, okay, we feel like we've taken the temperature of the community. Let's make any adjustments that are necessary in the RFC version of the proposal, and let's make that as an actual proposal or series of proposals, right? It is possible to divvy it up. So we propose one or more than one proposals. By the way, anyone who doesn't like the proposals we propose, it's a lot of propose, can propose their own, competing proposal.
We're gonna use it.
So they can do that, and they can compete, and the community can decide, right? Ideally, what I'd like to, and then we vote, right? And so Marlon Williams of Telos Miami has already, to my understanding, built Squirrel in a way that we can do both Rex and the ratify or amend proposal voting. And so we're working on, the Telos core devs are working on trying to get a site, like Chain Spectre, as a portal for you to be able to view any proposals that are out there and vote on them. My hope is that we can get those done before the voting period ends. The voting period is 5 million blocks or 29 days, the same as the voting period for everything on Telos. We thought, there were some other things floating around, but we decided it's really best to unify it. Like every other election in the known world, we just set a end time. Right, so it ends on that 29 days on block 5 million after it starts, and then the votes are counted and it passes or it doesn't pass. And it's actually super cool. So I just want to let people kind of know how this works. So our documents, like the Telos Blockchain Network Operating Agreement, the TBNOA, each of those documents is recorded on chain in IPFS clause by clause. And I know this because I broke the clauses up and put them into markdown format myself. So those are all stored on chain as pointers to these IPFS, to these Telos IPFS files. And what we actually do behind the scenes is, if you're proposing something, you propose, we're going to change the clause 2 to this new text, and clause 7 to this new text, and clause 14 to this new text. And if the vote passes, then the official pointers to the governance clauses go now to the new ones instead. It's actually pretty cool. Now, what happens since we are voting on a document, right? Like essentially any other government, they vote on a law, and then if a law passes, then it goes to the people who actually enact it, right? So the way this would work is the users, being the electorate, or and also like the legislative branch, will vote on this law change, this rule change. If it's passed, then that becomes official, and then the Telos core devs or any other group will go to work, but right now it's the Telos core devs, will go to work on creating a technical implementation for any changes that are needed. Once that technical implementation is done, then it is proposed by the core devs, or again, anyone, let me tell you what I mean in a second, to the block producers, and the block producers at that point accept or don't accept it. But the reasons to not accept it, right, are hey, we don't think this actually is the right implementation, or we haven't tested it enough, or whatever. The reason is not, well, we don't want to do it, right? The voters should throw those kinds of people out. And the core devs are basically like the bureaucracy that turns the will of the people into the machinery of governance, right? So that's kind of how these pieces all work together.